What's up, guys? How's it going? Big Hoss here. It's been a minute since I've done anything semi-educational on here, so I figured let's get on here and let's talk about a topic that maybe a lot of people don't understand, especially if they're new to the sport. If you've been doing this a while, you probably understand the concept of compound bow let off, but let's talk about it. So when you look at at the specifications on a bow, it's going to give you a percentage of let off that bow has, and it's going to vary depending on what the bow is intended use for, whether it's hunting or target or whatever. So what let off is the percentage of the peak draw weight that you will be holding back when you are at full draw. All right, guys, so let's talk about the math when it comes to let off. So I took the liberty of doing some calculations here for you. So for easy math, let's say your bow's peak draw weight is 100 pounds and it's got 80% let off. So you take 100, which is your peak draw weight, times that by 0.80, that's your 80%, and that gives you 80 pounds. So take your peak draw weight and subtract your 80 from it, and that gives you 20. So that gives you 20 pounds of holding weight on a bow that draws at 100 pounds with an 80% let off. Now, for a more real world situation, let's say the bow draws 70 pounds and it has an 85% let off. So 70 times 0.85 equals 59.5. So take your peak draw weight minus your 59.5, and that gives you 10.5 pounds of holding weight. So basically, the higher the percentage of let off, the less you're going to hold back at peak draw.
So what we're looking at here is the cam on my Martin. So this is the cam itself, this is the module, and this is the draw stop. So depending on what your draw length is, you're going to put a specific module on this bow, and that's going to affect how far the bow draws back. But you could overdraw this bow, and that's where your draw stop comes into play. As you can see, this draw stop can move in this channel up or down. So this will move depending on the module that you have in this. And how this applies to let off is you could move this draw stop, an eighth of an inch roughly up or down at your draw length. And yes, it will affect your draw length as it comes around and hits the limb, but it will also affect your let off and give you more or less depending on what you need as a shooter.
All right, guys, so I've got my Bear here, which is set up for bow fishing. It's a single cam bow, but we're going to talk about the mod on it. So it has a rotating mod, so you don't need a specific mod for your draw length. You could just take the screws out and rotate this for whatever you need. This also has a draw stop on it, but it goes in fixed holes, so you can't move it, just a little bit one way or the other. This draw stop has to correspond to the setting that your mod is at, and your let off is fixed at that point in time. So for a hunting bow, you're probably going to want something with a little bit more let off, somewhere in that 80% to 85% range, just because you're probably going to have to hold that for longer than you want to at certain points in time, because you're not always going to get the best shot exactly when you want it. So if you have to hold that at full draw, you want less holding weight so you don't get tired and you can make a better shot. Now, I'm not a target shooter, but from what I'm told, target guys like a little bit less let off because the bow gives them more feedback and they can hold it. They don't have to hold it for necessarily as long. So, all right, so let's go ahead and figure out what the let off is on this Martin DSX 33. And I don't know, so we're all going to find out together. So I've got my scale set. I've got my draw scale here, and I'm not going to shoot this arrow. I'm just going to pull it back and we're going to see. Okay, so my peak draw weight on this bow was 62.68 pounds, and my holding weight was 16.08 pounds.
All right, guys, so to figure this out, we take our part divided by our hole times that by 100, and that's going to give us our percentage here. So we know that it's 25.65%. We're going to minus that from 100, so that bow is going to come out to 74.35% let off. So that's where it is. based on the numbers that I just pulled.
So guys, that's my quick explanation on let off. Hopefully everything that I said was right. If it wasn't, comment. Let me know where I'm going wrong, or if I said anything that was a little confusing, maybe I can clarify. But yeah, anyway, that's my quick lesson on compound bow let off today. So appreciate it, guys, and have a great hunt.